Marketing. The anticipation, identification and satisfaction of customer needs and wants in a profitable manner. And then related to it, we talk about branding, the unique differentiation and identification of a product or service. These are age-old, time-tested concepts. But in a modern business world, with so many new developments, including the pandemic, flourishing competition, and the growth of digital spaces, amidst the concerns of sustainability, how exactly and where does marketing and branding play in the corporate agenda today? If you are a business owner, you probably have these questions. And today, in Bisnomics, in your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes, that's exactly what we will be focusing on. And our special guest today is none other than an expert in marketing and branding, who is currently the head of the Marketing Management Department at the University of Kelaniya, and he is Professor Ravi Dissanayake. Professor Dissanayake, welcome to Bisnomics.
Thank you very much. Nice briefing about myself. Thank you very much.
Professor, let's get this concept once and for all clear. Now, marketing, we know the definition. We've heard about it in multiple different forums. But is it really rocket science, or are we not as individuals and as businesses anyway doing marketing all the time from morning till night? Am I wrong if I take that more simplistic view of marketing? And you're most welcome to add your flair to it.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation you made for me. And if I reach to your question or your clarification, I think you halfway answered for the question. Yeah, of course, marketing has a lot of theories and the fundamentals and the accepted norms and practices. But if you look at this evolution of organizations, marketing as a function, business as holistic function, but I would like to talk about marketing in terms of life.
Marketing in terms of life.
Life.
Brilliant.
So that gives whole meaning of what marketing is.
For sure.
And you also gave a briefing. So anticipation, analysis, and then you set the products into the consumer. But
those are the typical textbook definitions.
Exactly. So we bring into the practice realities.
Correct.
Marketing is a science, yes. Because without logical thinking, you can't develop a business. In businesses, we have different motives, right? It might be the profit or the welfare and social sustainability. We have so much of aspects to talk about why businesses are existing in the world. You bring the term called marketing over there. At the beginning of the human civilization, people, they wanted to have one thing called life. For the life, they had different needs and wants. Obviously, now we are talking about the digital era today, right? But the mode is different, but the purpose is same. So marketing is many things, but in some sort of the framework, I would say, marketing is set of activities driven by strategy. That's where the business people should understand properly. Marketing is always driven by strategy.
The corporate strategy.
Exactly. Corporate strategy.
Your overall business plan.
Exactly. And it should not be limited to a department or an activity. So whose job marketing is? Simple answer of an organization. It's everybody's job, starting from the security officer to the CEO. So creating a customer value.
Because if the security guard is rude to the customer, he's going to turn the vehicle and go back.
Exactly. Because customers have many reasons to reject our products today, brands today. So we should not provide room for consumers to reject our brand organization. So remember, if you do marketing, start with the people first. If you do marketing, create set of functions, that's true, which was in the books for years. But I would say mostly, if you want to do marketing for your organization, marketing for your defined customers or society, please bring the professional culture within your organization. So marketing is simply creating a professional culture in your organization where everybody connects to that of the common mission to create values to people, creates values to society, or even you can create values to the globe. So that's entire process. We call it as marketing today.
So marketing basically equals value, the value you give to the customer.
Exactly.
Giving good value means you're in good marketing.
Obviously.
That's an excellent and a very different perception, Doctor, but that's exactly what we expect here in Bisnomics. Now, beyond just being a business, being a brand, now you're a brand specialist. Professor Ravi is a brand within the university system as well. So Professor Ravi, let me ask you this. There are so many businesses in the world, very few brands. Many companies that are making shoes, maybe thousands of companies, but very few strong brands that come to our mind just like that. Same thing goes with soft drinks, same thing goes with vehicles. How important is it to build a brand beyond just a business? And today, in fact, some people say people don't buy the product, they buy the brand. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, very true. Even if you talk yourself, it's a personal brand. So the simple term, what I connect to the brand is a name. It's not advice, my open thought for our business people, especially for the local entrepreneurs.
Correct. The small and medium enterprises
Exactly.
also.
Please consider branding as an investment. So a lot of ideologies there, principles there. People take branding as expense. That itself, you kills the brand. So when you talks about the brand, it should not kill in the brand perception organization. If you really think I'm investing for marketing promotion, I'm investing for sponsorship, I'm investing for CSR activity, if your mind says that I'm going to do a kind of expenditure on branding, that itself you are losing your professional focus for branding. So branding for a product, yes, it's good. Branding for a corporate, it's also good. And today even we consider, first, brand your people. People are the big component of your organization perception. So what I do say is, creating brand for organization, creating brand for corporate, it depends on how your corporate philanthropy itself gives the priority for branding as an investment. Good old days, you can remember when you do this accounting, we took goodwill into calculation, right?
Correct.
We had a value for that.
Correct.
Yeah. So why don't we consider branding as the root cause of developing the goodwill for entire organization? So branding is an investment first. And of course, we talk about marketing. I would like to connect, if your time permits me.
For sure.
There are, simply we all know about the 4 P's in marketing. Yeah. And we talk about 7 P's, 10 P's, 12 P's. You can add many things as much as possible. Yeah. But simple marketing is if you take.
Yeah. And for the benefit of the wide audience here, Professor, product, price, place, promotion.
Promotion.
Simple 4 P's.
Simple. You take these 4 P's. You got to go with a good product. You have a price. You distribute it where customers can easily access it. That's called place. And you need to have voice for the brand. You do the promotion. These 4 P's, please don't consider the 4 P's as brand. That's where we need to come out with a professional mindset of what branding is. Branding, it connects to 6 P's. You first developed the promise for consumer. So that promise is not just defined for the technicality of the product. Promise means, yes, if you come and purchase my brand, I'm assuring to you, you don't miss this value for your consumer life. So I'm creating a promise to the customer. It doesn't come only within the product.
Correct.
It comes with entire organization, mission, activities, people, you name it, everything connects to this.
Correct.
You first develop a promise to consumer. Now consumer gets perception, okay, done. I like this product, the way it communicates to me. I heard about this product through my colleagues. I saw something in the social media. So what you develop is, you develop a promise first. Now when the customer comes to you with the promise, customer creates a perception. You get 15 names to your mind when it comes to the shoes. Maybe 25 names to your, maybe some other product. But there would be 3 or 4 names stuck in your memories.
We call it top of the mind recall.
Top of the mind awareness. So that's what you call the power of your promise. And customer himself defines the perception. Yes, I think I won't be disappointed if I do purchase this.
Correct.
Your marketing 4 P's, product, price, place, promotion, should be the deliveries of the promise.
Correct.
So let me connect this.
Yes.
If you do branding for your company, product, whatever, you first develop a strong promise, but it should be very genuine.
Correct.
Genuine promise. If you can't deliver, don't promise first. And then you know one thing, consumers get perception. Now your 2 P's are set.
Yes.
What the sandwich? Marketing 4 P's. So always remember, your marketing 4 P's are the deliveries of your promise. Don't play around badly on this.
So the product that you are selling, the location where you have it available, how you advertise it and promote it. Because some people think advertising is branding. It's not, as you said, it's just a deliverable.
It's just a dot out of it.
Exactly. And then also the what we call as, so we have the product and then the price at which you sell it.
Exactly.
So these four are the deliverables. Any business, when they are selling it, they have to decide what they'll sell, at what price, where they will sell it, and how they'll promote it. But as you said, branding is what are you promising the customer? Because if the promise is strong, then tomorrow you introduce another product, they'll still come to you because your promise is strong, and that's a part of the brand. And you, as you very correctly said, the perception, what customers think about you. Now that gets shaped naturally with the experience that the customer has with you. So what you're saying, Professor, is that when you take off the product and everything else, what is left in the customer's mind about the business, that is the real strength and equity of the brand.
Exactly.
Professor, how, because I know you are someone who is constantly engaged in cutting edge marketing research all the time. You are looking into the new developments in marketing. You are someone who has published many research papers on marketing as well. You're a very renowned guru in Sri Lanka for marketing. With regard to research, especially post-pandemic, what do we see in terms of the changes and the effect on branding? What is it that the post-pandemic consumer is looking for in the brands that they buy?
If I want to compress my whole answer into one word, start with letter T. I don't know whether you can guess this. Trust. Trust is the most important matter to develop a brand.
Trust is a must, as they say.
You have no alternatives for that. And remember, if you look at the comparison, pre-COVID, post-COVID, people are there, still are there. Needs are there, nothing changed. Only the changing happens within the mode of connecting to the brand.
Correct.
And I think I have made this statement for a couple of audience and a couple of public forums as well. COVID gave us a lot of positives to rethink as a nation. I won't say COVID is positive always, but it gave us some positive recaps to our mind, especially for the business people, including SMEs in this country. And everything remains same. People are there, they need needs and want satisfaction. Only the differentiation or reshaping happens within how we engage with the company and the customer, these two. And the post-pandemic, there are people still talk about some brands. They wait and see to purchase this brand, provided your brand has delivered what you promise. That's called the trust, including the digital media today. And remember, if you compare just 3-4 decades back and the today's customer is informed customer. He's well armed with information. And you can, trickily do something for consumers. You can test them out. They do test you. And today we are talking about the branding, one aspect called brand co-creation. In Sri Lanka, there are two types of brands, happen brands and made brands. I don't know whether I made you jargonic on this.
No, I think we are getting into a very interesting perception here.
Yeah.
Doctor, I'm going to come back to you on more details on that.
Yeah.
We will be back after this short break. Stay tuned to learn more on branding. This is Bisnomics. Welcome back to Bisnomics. We are in conversation with Professor Ravi Dissanayake on the very pertinent topic of branding for your business. Professor Ravi, now, before the break, we were talking about made brands and brands that just happen. Distinguish this for us.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at I refrain myself not to mention the names in this program.
Absolutely. That's good media ethics, and we appreciate that.
Exactly, right? But there are some brands in Sri Lanka. Thanks to its origin, thanks to the time it came to the market, they had no competition. In fact, customers didn't have alternatives. They dominate the market.
And it's stuck in the mind.
Stuck in the mind. Because there were no room for others to come and,
Correct.
Connect into the consumer.
And the brand has been in the homes for generations.
Exactly. So generations, they created the brand. I use the term for those as happen brands. Whereas Sri Lanka, including local companies, we have very nice case studies to learn. And even, in fact, other business people can follow it. How the organization came up with a very, very comprehensive ideology about rather product manufacturing. Yeah, product has to be there. They had a holistic mission of creating a brand. It came from the company ownership, even to the middle managers, lower level staff, everybody.
Understood.
And they develop programs, they develop strategies, activities, marketing, communications with the very clear and consistent policy of energizing and boosting the brand, connecting the consumer mind. Over a period of time, including if you compare some local brands against the multinational brands, they established very strongly in the consumer mind. It didn't happen overnight. It came with very holistic journey, and there were some ups and downs, of course. That's the way how businesses are. And it positioned, rather it just happened, deliberately they created the perception, the positioning strategy, where consumers, even without seeing advertisement, entire life they connect with the brand. Even if you do a mistake, following day you can see they just call your company and say, don't do that. Because consumers feel it's on to them. These are called made brands.
Professor, in terms of the modern day brands that we see, a lot of the time consumers expect them to be sustainable. Consumers have many expectations from modern day brands, and being sustainable, that means brands are expected to be not only good and making money and not only give a good product, but also to be good to the society and good to the environment. And if you can find all these three, we call it the triple bottom line sweet spot. That's the interesting new term. How has this made things interesting for brands?
Yeah, what you asked is correct. Now, all this sustainability, ethics, maybe we talk about social responsibility, all those matters.
CSR.
Exactly. All these matters are in the corporate tables. We talk, we implement, even we report and publicize to the community. That's good. But finally, if you look at the grounded reality of a business, people should define what your business is. People should have a clear perception how you are doing your business for the community and the customers. Today, customers are very powerful in terms of information, right? They are well read about your business, and they check your business. And if you do a mistake today, it bounces like nothing. So today, the most important part then, take the brand as the bridging factor between your organization and consumer. So then make sure to give the fuel to the brand, always do the necessary transformation, changes to the brand, not for just the sake of marketing promotion. When I say brand, it has everything: product, quality, assurance, services, ethics, communication, you name it, everything comes as one sandwich. And how I do connect to the second part of my answer. If you develop a brand for organization, I said, it has to connect with the organization philosophy and the practices, strategies, plan, and most importantly, your organization people. The people of your company are the best asset that can energize and deliver this promise to the consumer. And let me connect the other side of it. We talked about perception in my previous explanation. Today, if you look at the brand sustainability, and I think our business people will take this as one of the initiative to rethink about why branding is as such important. Today, we are not making loyal customers. That time is gone. Even you asked about the previous research things. Today, a lot of research works are happening, even digital mode and traditional mode. There's a concept called brand evangelist. We create a brand evangelist, not brand loyal customer. So evangelist means there are three things what a brand evangelist could do for organization, for your brand.
They go and talk good about the brand?
Yeah, it connects to this way. Typically, if your customer is a brand evangelist for your brand, or even your corporate, he or she will buy your brand. One aspect done, nothing new. He or she would recommend your brand to others. Important, not that new. Third one is the most important one. You take your customer as a brand custodian. Customer himself probably criticizes your competitive brands with his community. He's like unpaid spokesperson for your brand. Why customers do that? That's the question. If your customer believes this brand gave me my expectation, I got the value for what I paid, and I'm not having any guilty of purchasing this brand or even recommending to others. Even I can promote my brand to my colleagues, my family members, because as such, I do trust it. And when my brand is badly criticized, even in social media or the competitive organization, you get a natural rhythm. No, I should appear for my brand. If you can create customer for these three actions.
Defenders of the brand.
Exactly. They are the fire shield of.
Yeah. Guardians,
your,
one might
exactly.
say.
That's called consumer take as a brand custodian, not only your brand managers and other stuff. There you are.
And you can't force that also, right, Professor? You can't force
can't.
it. It doesn't
You
naturally
can.
come
Natural.
by over the years and over the decades delivering that trust.
Exactly. What I said is big T.
Correct.
That's trust.
Trust.
There you are. Your brand is sustainable.
Professor, very insightful answer indeed. Now, when we talk about rankings of brand, we see annual global brand rankings and we see local brand rankings, top 50 brands of Sri Lanka, and so many different factors are there. What are the, so many different rankings are there. What are the factors that these, I know this can differ from ranking to ranking, but in general, when brands are ranked, what are the different factors and dimensions they consider, number one? And number two, what's really important for a brand to earn? Is it the rankings or is there something more that brands should earn?
Okay, you asked two questions where it's well interconnected. Let me answer for the first part of it. If you look at international, the global level indexes and how they really evaluate a brand, there are 10 factors, 15 factors, you name it, different factor conditions there, factor classifications there, and they come out with the brand ranking. But let me really compress into three areas. Brand ranking factors, you can categorize into three P's. One side is positioning factors. So your brand has to be ranked. If you want to rank your brand, there are organizations who do that. They have checklist. They checked how strongly your brand has been connected to consumer memory. That's called positioning power. Second factor, my number two factor P is perception factors. How consumers reflect your brand.
In their eyes, how do you appear?
Exactly. That's where the consumer point of view would come to the list of evaluation.
But you think your service of your brand is at F1 speed, but customers are thinking it's at museum speed.
Exactly. So as far as these positioning factors, perception factors are bridging,
Correct.
There you are, your factors are very transparent and connected. My third fact is performances. Positioning.
Walking the talk.
Yeah, perception, performances. Where performance, you can categorize into two folds. One is a mind share, second one is market share. Mind share means how strongly consumers engage with the brand. Awareness, preference, liking, conviction, and our finance people mainly talked about figures come to the paper. That's called your market share.
And this very well applies even in some of the non-business domains, isn't it, Professor? For example, we saw one very talented young cricketer who obviously when he tried to resign, how there was a very strong collective base of people openly coming out and saying, look, don't retire. They were creating hashtags, they were creating posts, and they were really standing by that cricketer. And at the same time, when certain cricketers were caught violating discipline, we saw the Sri Lankan cricket community was extremely harsh on them. So
that's simply brand evangelist. Even for a personal brand, you can create brand evangelist. They appear for you.
Professor, how strong is brand Sri Lanka? Personally, I think it's not as strong as it should be or could be, whether it's as whether it is as a manufacturing destination or as a brand of manufacturing destination, the brand of tourism, or a brand of even simply living. Now we see people in record numbers trying to leave Sri Lanka because they think brand Sri Lanka is not as strong or good as a place to live. We don't see much of the manufacturing coming to Sri Lanka when you compare with places like Vietnam. Cost is one factor, yes, but countries like Singapore where cost is higher is also attracting manufacturing still. And then even as tourism, we see a rise, but I'm pretty sure countries like Maldives have built a strong brand for tourism than us. Professor, where did we go wrong with brand Sri Lanka?
I don't know whether you have searched my previous work. I worked for Sri Lanka, Brand Sri Lanka project as a think tank chairman. It happened just a few years before. With that experience, I'm telling you, I had a very strong team and visionary team to come out with the paper as well. With that experience, I would say, if you brand Sri Lanka, we had brands and we are being branded. Only the missing point of Sri Lanka is a holistic branding.
Oh, 360 overall.
Exactly. We need to first market our house. House is Sri Lanka. Why people love our tea? They know Sri Lanka is doing best in tea. Why not gem? We have strong potential for that. And spices. And tourism we talked about. And we have very strong cultural tourism proposition in Sri Lanka. And people are very friendly with the foreigners. If you look at sector-wise, yes, we have been branded and we made brands.
And even recently, as you very correctly said, people are friendly. And we saw a group of tourists dancing right outside the train while the boys were singing inside the train.
Exactly, exactly. They feel home feeling. Now, let me connect this one. If we develop brand for Sri Lanka, I would say there are some brand pillars. Our positioning strategy should not be only for the land.
It should be holistic and overall.
Holistic and even for the purpose.
Doctor, we are going to come back to you on more details on that. Stay tuned. We will be back after this short break. This is Bisnomics. Welcome back to Bisnomics, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. Our focus today is on getting branding right. And we are in conversation with a branding guru who is none other than Professor Ravi Dissanayake. Professor Ravi, we were talking about the purpose of brand Sri Lanka. Let's define it in your perspective.
Yeah, it's like this. What I said was the purpose. Now, if you look at our most important asset of this country is well-intelligent people. And you name a couple of countries around Sri Lanka. And compared to tourism, production, yes, it's good. And we need to understand where we stand as differentiator and of course a value creator other than other nations. Our people, you said, even if you compare to other regional countries, why a lot of developed countries are eager to recruit from Sri Lanka? Because our brains are powerful, intelligent. I would say Sri Lanka can be branded at holistic. One is the real genuine quality. If you talk about spices, genuine. Talk about our beaches, very genuine, well lush. And our people can easily absorb and even compliance with expected qualities and technical advancement demanded by the global consumers. Compliance. So if you look at these three words, we as a nation, we are very good in compliance. We are very good in intelligent. And we are very good in giving the exact, genuine quality.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly. So if you can really come out with these three as the brand pillars and position Sri Lanka and communicate into the rest of the world why you should do business with our country, I think we are not so, pessimistic. We have a lot of optimistic opportunities.
Some good vibes there indeed, Professor,
Yeah.
in your words. Now, today brands are expected to be built and present in the digital media space as well. How has this changed the game for the brand professionals?
Very good. It's like this. I do say there's nothing called digital marketing, but marketing in digital mode.
Interesting twist again.
Yeah, marketing remains as marketing. Only the differentiation or the new platform happened is the mode of doing marketing. And even I invite people to have a good look into this reading on these materials and articles on theory of social capital. You talk about your social media and see how many contacts you have. Your mobile phone, how many contacts you have. These are just contacts. How many contacts you use for creating value for you, value for your business. That's called social capital. Doing brand in digital mode exactly depends on how you strategically analyze, strategically plan, strategically implement your branding campaigns, brand development strategies with the social capital perception. You need to go with the right person. Thanks to the digital mode today, you can clearly figure out the customer. It's not like you make a blind shot.
Correct. You can exactly profile and figure out.
Exactly profile and figure out, and you can really connect to the consumer chemistry. Second point, thanks to social media today, what I said was brands are co-created. You can easily get people to create your brand. They act as your best custodians. And important thing is, when consumers, they themselves talked about your brand, it's not just shares or likes. You need to have real analytics and see whether those were effective engagements. I use a term called effective engagement. In digital media, you need to have a special attention on analyzing how to get the effective engagement for your brand. It's not just like and shares. See how they commented, how they shared with others, and how they made a very positive engagement with your brand.
Because today you can have 5,000, 6,000 likes on a post and 0 people knowing about it because those likes may have come from a like farm or some automated bot.
Exactly. You need to be very scientific. So digital media has given a lot of opportunities. An important thing is now SMEs, they had a huge challenge on marketing promotion budget.
Correct.
Traditional media was very, very costly for them.
Exorbitant for them.
Exactly. They can't bear it out. But thanks to digital media, today you can run minimum budget, more engagement.
Correct.
Minimum budget, more engagement, and effective analysis of where your brand has to be placed.
Correct.
So these are the positives, avenues doing business in digital era.
Now, in terms of building the brand of the organization, Professor, as you very correctly said, it's not something only for the marketing department professionals. It's a job for everyone. You said everybody has to do it. So what exact role do non-marketing department people or non-marketing unit people play in building the organizational brand, number one? And number two, the modern day marketing students, what skills do they need to have to be marketing graduates ready for the professional world? And I know in your university you all have started some wonderful initiatives for this, and congratulations on that. Share with us your thoughts and your journey on that.
Okay, let me answer for the first part of the question. The first part of the question, you talked about how this collective responsibility connects to the branding strategy. Yes, if I do say this, the best marketer of your organization is not the marketer. Don't expect marketing department to be the best marketer for your products or your company. Take non-marketing people as the best marketers for your organization. For an example, finance. So we have finance, marketing, typical rooms of, dividing these two into different
the corporate tug of war.
Yeah. It's very difficult to connect each other. But thanks to now, as per the new education strategies, even now, finance people do talk about brands, and marketing people are financially literated. Very good.
Correct.
And finance people, their job should be partner role for brand. HR people, there should be partner role for marketing. Marketing people, their role is to be the real internal marketers.
Correct.
When it comes to your top line, bottom line analysis, finally, all the activities of organization, most of the activities are cash outflows. There will be one activity, cash inflow, selling. If you sell, cash inflow happens.
Correct.
And what makes selling happen? Customer. Why customer purchases your product? They trust your brand.
Correct.
Who should make it? Not manufacturing manager, not marketing manager. Everybody has to have a very clear and very transparent look on why organization should work on marketing, should work on branding. Don't make it as one function of the organization. Even CEO, even finance people, HR people, marketing people, they all have to understand finally what makes our effort to create cash inflow. That's selling. To make selling happen, create a brand, not just a product. It has everything together. Properly analyze, financially see the viability of the product. That's called financial engagement for the marketing. Train your people. We talked about brand citizenship behavior, BCB. If your people do not talk the language what you promise to the customer, there you are. Customers never believes what your brand talks.
Correct. No point in having a big board that says our brand promise is to be the most customer-friendly business in this industry when your people are being absolutely rude to the customer.
Exactly. That's the perception point. You can make 1,000 promises. Who does the delivery part? Your people. Go to a bank, front office. Go to hospital, front office. Education institute, lecturers. That's where the real deliveries happen. So no matter whether you are from finance, IT, marketing, sales, or whatever,
Yeah.
consumers, they treat us as brand custodian. We have to appear for brand language. So I think most precise asset of an organization is people. Take people into your brand. Train them to speak the brand language as it promises to customer. The rest of the community will believe what you promise as a brand.
Interesting indeed. Professor, on a final note, actually, before we come to the final point on building our own brand, what about the skills needed by the modern marketing students?
Okay, hope you would permit for sharing one cases.
Absolutely.
What my university, Department of Marketing Management, University
Yes.
of Kelaniya did. We developed a graduate called Certified Professional Marketing Graduate, CPMG. So we developed graduate with 10 to 15 companies engagement with strategic partnerships. Because what we understood was, in the modern digital era, knowledge is everywhere.
Omnipresent, as we say it.
Yeah, it is like a fingertip. Just a flash, you get a lot of information to your documents, to your sheets. What lacks is dynamic skill set. And I think I love to share this thought with my couple of industry experience as a consultant. Today, if you see the brand executives, brand managers, senior brand managers, there are some branding related staff members of an organization, they are just like agency coordinators. So no, your brand executive, your brand manager has to be the strategic thinker.
Correct.
Brand is yours. You have to live with the brand first. You need to map
Live
your
it,
brand.
breathe it, sleep it. It should be in you.
In
You own it.
Exactly. You are a real black and white soul of your brand. And you need to think about the positioning, your TG, your target market, your future growth of this, how I do connect my brand to my R&D department, production department. Please read your brand. Understand the chemistry of your brand first. Marketing communication is a separate part. Their expertise, please outsource that.
Correct.
But strategy part, don't outsource. Skill set of a branding, I would say you must have very good analytical skills. Number two, you must have proper investigation skills, research thought. Third, you should be able to connect your brand into other different functions. Where the real cutoff point comes, please go for outsource activities, get the right agencies, professional people involved, and do that out. For a real brand manager, the best CV is the brand you manage. You may leave the company, maybe you go to another table for a new job. If I were to interview you for a brand manager position, I ask only one question from you. I never read your CV. What was the brand you managed? That gives me exact CV and skill set of you. So branding is wonderful career. It's a wonderful profession. Please live with it. Then brand will make you energized as a professional.
Professor, on a final note, building the brand you, or in other words, the personal brand. How can one build their personal brand? Because today we live in an era, people are very busy on LinkedIn, sometimes bloating up even the smallest thing they do as one of the biggest things possible. And personal branding is something that a lot of people are concerned about today. But to make a personal brand that is long lasting, that is going to stick in the minds of the people, and that is strong, what does one need to do?
I believe with these experiences and some of the analysis and few of postgraduate research works I have supervised, developing a personal brand has two avenues: social personal branding, professional personal branding. For a social personality, social personal branding, you need nothing but relevant and engagement. You need to have a relevant audience, and you need to talk about the engagement with the right causes. It's examination of yourself, examination of myself within the digital community. Someone wants to read myself as a social personality. They would read what I did in my social media, what I thought, what I shared, how I did comment on this. You may have to have rethinking about the way you engage in social media before you do your social personal branding. Make sure what is relevant to you. Make sure how I should do the engagement with my rest of the communities. That's for social personal branding. Number two, professional personal branding is one word, accountability. There may be different arguments on social media ethics, responsibilities, rules, regulation. No, finally, it's like your personal website, right?
Correct.
You need to understand what is personal, what is not. If I want to appear myself as academia, somebody as good banker, somebody as good brand manager, if you want to have intention, I want to create my personal brand in terms of professional personal brand, always read, always do the needful for your accountability. If you are not accountable for what you do, what you talk, what you share with others, you never be accountable personal brand. So personal branding, twofolds in brief, social personal brand, professional personal brand. Social personal branding is different, make sure relevance and engagement, but for a professional personal brand, I urge from rest of the community, especially our young leaders who will come forward and take our continuous step, be accountable for your professional first.
Some very, very thoughts there, Professor. Thank you very much for joining us today and enlightening us on this very vast and dynamic topic of branding, how we can apply it to business, how we can apply it to life. From what I understood, branding is life. Even in life we do branding, whether it's business or the work we do or our careers or even ourselves in a personal level. And wishing you and the team at the Marketing Management Department in the Kelaniya University all the very best for your future endeavors. May you and your team continue to produce brilliant brand builders and marketing graduates for this country, and hopefully they will strengthen the brand Sri Lanka as well. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much.
Is Bisnomics your favorite and most trusted weekend media program brand? Well, I sincerely hope so. I'm Tharanu Amarasekara, and I will see you in the next episode. This, as always, is your weekend's most profitable 60 Minutes Bisnomics.